One.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to wish everyone in the United States a happy Thanksgiving, and really around the world. Anything that you might be thankful for today worth celebrating. We have decided to choose 2 games from our past that we are thankful for maybe not being the best of game or something that was groundbreaking, but had an important meaning to us. Aaron, would you like to start today?
Sure. I actually chose a game that was groundbreaking and is important to everyone, but I can't help it because I've been obsessed with this game since the moment I saw it. And that game was the original Donkey Kong. I love it. I own it. And I bet a week hasn't gone by where I haven't loaded it up and played it. It's always the first game I load when I'm testing a new build of an emulation setup or when I work on an arcade machine. It's always the first thing I load up. I am intimate with it, and I love it. When I first saw this game back as a kid in the very early 80s, I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. The sound was great, and the fact that you can move all through these different levels was very unusual at the time because, and I've mentioned this before, but it gave you this feeling of freedom, that you could explore and look around. And I always thought that was awesome. The fact that it had these multiple levels, which is, again, something you didn't see that much back in those days, was really awesome to me as a kid. I've always enjoyed games where you run and jump over stuff. You know, I'm a big Miner 2049 fan stuff, but I mean, I don't think it's ever been done better or more perfectly than it was done in Donkey Kong. Of course, Donkey Kong has went on to become super famous. Everyone knows what it is. Donkey Kong had a cereal. It's on like Donkey Kong. The Kong-offs, the Billy Mitchell stuff with Weeby, the King of Kong. I mean, it's something that has resonated through all these years. But when you boil it down, it's just a great game. It is hard, but it's a fairly fair game, and of course, it spawned a blue zillion sequels, and effectively, the character Jumpman, who became Mario, is the spearhead of a massive global operation that is the forefront of video games. So, in a lot of ways, Donkey Kong was the kickoff to the modern video game era, and it was a great game. The home ports I played, I remember playing this on the Coco. We had a really good clone version of it on the Coco. And they even ported a full version emulated to the Coco 3 if you've got enough memory to run it, which is cool. But it's a game that it's like putting on an old pair of slippers for me because I've played it so many times. I enjoy it, and I've always been thankful for it. So if I never got to it on the show, this is a good opportunity for me to say thank you for all the fellows that worked on Donkey Kong. I believe Miyamoto worked on this one like this was his baby. You did a great job, dude, and I'm thankful for Donkey Kong. What about you?
I definitely went a different direction. I chose Battlezone, but not the one from back in the arcade game. This was actually the remake for the computer that was a first-person strategy game. Kind of odd pick if you don't hear the story, but for me, this came out when I was in college. It was around the 1997, 96, 97, 98 era. And it got me and one of my friends at the time, and still friends with today, talk to him every week, looking at level design and level creation. And when we started out, it was just for fun. We were making levels for this game. We had made levels for other first-person shooters that were just standard fare. But we went in depth into the Battlezone levels because they were a different scale. The maps you made for this were all vector-based mapping, so it was very complicated to get the proportions just the way you wanted them, the shapes just the way you wanted them, the maps themselves, and they were just large, vast emptiness at the beginning, and you had to scale up all the mountains to make terrain for the game. And we did this for several times, several levels, just to amuse ourselves, just to play multiplayer local for us and our friends. And we were actually contacted later on to make levels for the Battlezone expansion Battlegrounds. This had never happened to us before. It was the first time we were reached out to use our levels, and they wanted, along with many others, of course, but they wanted us to make levels for their expansion. And my buddy and I were always big into wanting to be game designers, and this was something that allowed us to get a little taste of that life. He moved on to be a programmer, more for databases and office use, and my creative side, I moved on to making board game design, which I hopefully will publish one day, just like this got published. We got paid for our work. We got a free copy of the game, which I still have sealed, sitting in my display case as something that we did as a team back in the day together. And like I said, we got published. I think we got $50 per map that we split amongst ourselves. And it allowed us to get just the taste of that developer spirit. And we still carry that with us today. We still love to design, create, and hopefully, one day we'll be able to do even more with it than we're doing now. But just having that little taste, I can say I'm a published developer of, even if it's just a level, it's still,
that counts.
We got paid to do the job.
That counts.
So I'm very thankful for Battlezone, the 1997 remake of the game that came along, that allowed me to feel like I was a developer, if nothing else. It was a very special time, a very special experience in my life.
Hey, you briefly worked for Activision.
Yeah, well, that's sort of right, I guess. It was actually a different publisher at the time, but well, I feel good. It made me feel good. It made me say, you know what? If I can do this, other people can do this, and it really pushed me to keep creating stuff, which I still do today.
Very good, very good.
So again, for all of us at ARG Presents, and really the Amigo family as a whole, happy Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you again real soon.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye-bye.